synonym I know of that's equalitarian, which is more self-explanatory. So when you're an equalitarian, by default position, you're not a racist. You're not a classist. Okay, you're somebody that wants the best for everybody. Okay, you become godlike. You become like a really good parent, as good as any parent could ever be. You want the best for your children. You want the best for your fellow man, your brother, sister, everybody. Adam Smith talks about every nation's single greatest asset. Who is it? It's you. It's me. It's a willing workforce. That's it. Because anything and everything get done with it, but without a willing workforce, nothing gets done. You can sit on a mountain of capital, but nothing gets done. So understanding capitalism is fundamental to the stuff I like to get into. So people know for sure you're being cheated. I'm not making it up. That's tyranny. That's what tyrants do. They're thieves and liars and cheaters. And worst of all, they're murderers. You understand? You understand why that's a big advantage? What they're willing to kill these snot-nosed, bratty children, defiant to God and by extension humanity. Okay, that if they're willing to murder to get their way, what are the decent, righteous people supposed to do? It's a juggernaut of pure evil genius we're up against. Okay, it is powerful. It is satanic, wanton power. And it's all about the power of the purse and the printing press, the money, the epitome, the exemplification of all that's worldly wise valuable, all the materialism out there. Okay, possessions and everything else, the power, the control, and all the accoutrements that come with it are all focused on the money supply. Satanic power in this world. This is how we're all being thieved, robbed, duped, and murdered. Okay? And now at this point in history, with the industrial age in full bloom, with technology that can pump out stuff we can all have, whatever we want all the time, a huge excess, abundance, superfluity of everything we want and need. And this is a time they say, whoa, we got to impose austerity. So they've got this righteous pretext. It's to save the planet, you understand, right? They don't often even come out directly and say it, but they want you to understand, just subliminally. Well, I get it. Yeah, they got to impoverish people. So we got to accept people being cheated out of fair pay because we can't all have a living wage. We can't all live a middle-class lifestyle. Otherwise, we'll all be taking trips and driving Hummers and heating and cooling our houses to our heart's content. And like Obama said, in Africa, we'll overboil the earth. So we're a scourge on the earth now. You understand, these depopulationists make a good point. And none of this is conscious. We're not even thinking about it on a conscious level. It's subliminal. It's in the back of my subconscious, semi-conscious. But this is how they get away with it. So we're all become docile and confused and ignorant. And we like it like that. Ignorance is bliss, after all. That's what the pragmatic people believe and espouse. So we should believe that too. Right? Just be stupid like them. Ignorant. And that's the path of least resistance. Ignorance is bliss. Believe me. Come on, trust me on this. So you understand how they get away with this crap? Like the frogs in the pot of water. I mean, when the American people didn't revolt at the assassination of JFK and the fact that the Federal Reserve was not gone the next day with a hint of impropriety. See, I'm coming across arrogantly. With a hint of impropriety. But the impropriety was brazen, glaring, freaking in your face, man. Overwhelming empirical evidence for impropriety. And today we're in debt to them. How much? $25 trillion and growing day by day. And this is only answer. We don't know what we're going to do. We'll have to turn America into a third world status, fourth world. This is it. This is what other nations do. We've reached that point. We've run the course. We've got the frogs are cooked now. What do we do with a bunch of dead frogs? We're all already full to the gills, okay? It's like I go into Walmart the other night, and it's like they got these loudspeakers in the parking lot, so Orwellian. So 1984. I mean, next thing I'm expecting them to say, the scoops are coming, the scoops are coming. Like out of Soylent Green. No, really, I mean, it's freaky, man. There's some freaky deaky people running this show. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. Great, sounds so benevolent, altruistic, all these new commandments of these giant marble monuments that are built there with these sayings on them. Then you get to the part where they say, once we get the earth down to 500 million, we got to keep it there. 500 million. The earth is some 7.5 million, so that billion. So that means we got to get rid of 7 billion people in order to just have 500 million left. And there's no possibility that this pandemic has anything. No. They couldn't have already come up with a vaccine or some drug, okay, like oxychloroquine or some damn thing, and say, okay, my family and the ones I care about are protected. Let her rip. They're flying these planes they were using to modify the weather, okay, for 20 years. Spraying chemical in the sky they don't talk about on mass media and mainstream media. It's all over the internet, all the information. Yeah, we've been doing this forever. It's ancient technology. They were doing it back in the 40s. I mean, they experimenting. Hell, I learned about it when I was in first grade. Cloud seeding. Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons, spraying the skies as a pilot over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, trying to make the way difficult for the North Vietnamese, the communists, to come down and fight with our people in the South Vietnam area. Trying to make it muddy, difficult. And he was successful. So, yeah, they've had the technology for a long time. So this idea that this hasn't been going on, I mean, this is surrealism on steroids. This is the Twilight Zone brought in your face, okay? Reality is much stranger than fiction. That's what we're all living. You think we don't need God in this mix? You don't need God. I totally do. I got to make some sense out of this. I am not living in mortal fear of frickin' some stupid virus going around, man. No, day by day, man. Been living with death like all of us live with the possibility of being dead today. It's absurd. But listen, I'm just saying, understand the difference between organic suffering and inorganic. Inorganic suffering picks on people. It's discriminating. It's what the Civil War was fought for in America. We're against slavery. We're against oppression. We're against unscrupulous employers cheating and tricking their employees. That's why we set up a federal minimum wage and a labor department to protect the workers, those docile, passive workers. Okay? And look where we are now. Then now they're blaming the minimum wage workers every time they get a raise. Oh, that's why you have inflation. Oh, yeah? Well, how do you explain the inflation that happened before you gave them a raise? You're sick and twisted, man. You're evil. See, a lot of people are evil and they don't even know it. Those are the people I'm trying to reach and change their mind and say, dude, you're wrong. I'm right about this. I know my stuff. I know what I'm talking about. I know basic, fundamental economic principles. I know how to define capitalism and supply and demand and free market. I know what that means. I know what it leads to. Your money, if there's any semblance of progress relative to true capitalism, goes up in worth. No ifs, ands, or buts. No equivocation. Why? Here's the rhyme and reason in a nutshell. Because we, as a purportedly civilized society, find easier and easier methods to produce not only all the things we need, which is vitally important, but also all those things we crave, we desire, the luxuries that we want, the niceties, the trinkets, knickknacks, gadgets, you name it, all that kind of stuff we all can relate to. So your money goes up relative to all that stuff as we find easier and easier ways to make more than we need. So your essential human needs become a nominal fee. And then eventually you can see the writing on the wall, everything becomes free. So the money masters and monsters of misery, okay, they are rendered irrelevant in this mix. And you can imagine that's the last thing they want when that's how they run the show. That's their means of control, their modus operandi, method of operation. They need the money. They need the power of the purse to control the masses. They lose that, they got bupkis. And then it's revealed what every single nation's greatest asset is. It's you and I. It's the regular workers. I don't care what job you do. That's your if you're scrubbing toilets, just thank God that you are so humble of spirit and know that you're doing something very useful and appreciated. Okay? And that's what we're all after. We want to be useful and appreciated. Whatever we do, I'll scrub toilets. I'm not proud. I don't care when people want to look down. I don't care. Those are a-holes that would look down at me for doing that. Whatever it is, do it with all your might. Do it like you were doing it for yourself. Doing it like you were doing it for the Lord, like it tells us in Scripture. Scrub those toilets clean. Right now, I got a nice clean toilet. I'll bet you if we did a test right now, at this very moment, of all the toilets in this town, okay, guess what? Mine's going to rate among the very highest in terms of cleanliness, okay, and being free of germs and bacteria. I got into it. I mean, I didn't used to be like that when I was younger, but you evolve, you grow. And I do like a clean toilet. So it gets cleaned all the time. I like it very clean. I use it, I clean it. I mean, I get some sweet female on my pad, man. She sits a pretty little behind on my toilet. I don't have to worry about